Saturday at 8 o'clock at night. This weekend we were supposed to go away for a basketball camp in southern Jersey with my son. We wanted to go to a camp where it would teach him a little more skill. It was a highly recommended camp in southern Jersey. It was for his birthday, rather expensive. So I decided to go. We wanted to go there. That is the reason for this small podcast clip. What I saw this half weekend was atrocious. The difference between a leader and a non-leader was very evident at this camp. Now, I will not name the camp. I will not name the participants in the camp because I'm expecting a phone call from the owner. If I don't, I will name the camp. But I'll explain to you why. Because there are people that were from this area that went there. My son went there initially at 7:30. We got there at 7:30. We got there about 7 o'clock or so, getting warmed up or what have you. 8:30 or 8 o'clock, it starts. They have a commencement speech or a gathering speech where they start telling people what they're doing, their resumes and what have you. There was one guy there who played in Pro Bowl overseas. There was most of them were college players. A couple high school or a couple, foreign players that came there. I thought they were all very qualified. I in my opinion, that's what I thought. They were qualified from the resume. We went up to go do the drills. They were doing the drills, which I'm assuming that's what a camp does. You do drills. It teaches you how to play the game. It develops you. As a coach, that's what you do. That's what I've done for 2 decades in boxing. Over 2 decades now. However, after the first drills and what have you was done, and they were tough with the kids, which I like, and I'm not one to ever complain. They were tough with the kids. They made sure they had a team-oriented. Positions where they were, passing the balls a certain way, and they all had to be a team. Calling out plays as a team, running as a team. That was very good. I like that. But that's about the extent of where it went, and I will explain to you. We get back from lunch, which, by the way, they didn't have him on the schedule for lunch. We paid for it, but somehow it got lost in the shuffle. No problem. I'm not complaining about that. He's a very picky eater anyway. So we go for the games. And I was doing some stuff in the car. So I was like, let me go see the game. So I go upstairs and I look and I see, the team's a little different here. One kid had a beard. There was a couple of kids there and that were a lot older. My kid's 12, will be 13 next Sunday or next Saturday, 1 week from today. So I thought it was odd, extremely odd that this was going on, but didn't think nothing of it. Then I see this coach, who is Landon's coach, coming off the sidelines, screaming and hollering, yelling at kids, yelling at the refs, all types of nonsense. Then he starts to proceed to start screaming at this little blonde kid in his face, yelling at him. Then he starts yelling at Landon, yelling at him. I didn't even know what's going on. I thought, actually, to be honest with you, the way he was yelling at the ref after this, I thought it was a joke. I thought they were like, hey, we're going to show you what it's like to be in this, we're going to yell at you and do whatever, but this is all. It was not a joke. The guy was embarrassing himself the way he was yelling. So, here's to my point. So now the blonde-haired kid starts crying. Landon's crying. This guy's upset. They're all over the place. I'm thinking, what is going on here? He is screaming at every single turn, telling him, don't pass the ball to this guy. That turnover's on you because you passed it to this guy and he can't handle the ball. So here's my point. So now you got a coach that's at the top. And he starts filtering all the nonsense and negativity into the players, right? So what do the players do? They start filtering the nonsense into the other players there. So now the poison starts to spread more. Then it gets to the parents, and it starts to spread to the parents. So the parents now want that kid out of the game. Now, mind you, this is a camp. It is not AAU. This is a camp to develop your skills. This was the most atrocious camp I've ever seen in my entire life. That coach should never coach a high school game ever again, because he's just a high school coach. And there's a good reason why. There's a good reason why. I would bet that if he had applied for a college coach position or something on a higher level, God forbid he ever got to that level, he wouldn't make it. He wouldn't last long. The guy is horrible. He's the worst coach I've ever seen in over 2.5 decades in any coaching position I've ever done. He is the worst coach that I believe I've ever seen on an opposing team's coach also. I have never seen someone this bad. Ever in my entire life. Never. He was horrible. He was disrespectful. And he grabbed my son at the end of the game also to yank him back because he didn't want him out. He didn't want him in a certain position. That is unacceptable. But I didn't say anything because I want him to finish out the game. Finish out the game, and then we'll leave. We'll gladly walk away. Did not ask for my money back. Didn't ask for anything. My point was this. If you are going to be a leader and want to take that position, you have to take the good with the bad. You have to be a psychologist just as much as you have to be a coach. There are some kids that can handle being yelled at. There's other kids who cannot. Some perform better that way. Some do not. And if you cannot figure that out, you should not be a coach. That guy should never be a coach ever, especially around kids. If he wants to do it with adults, that's fine. But around children, he should never be allowed to coach and never step foot on a sideline. Ever. Ever again. Now, I'm waiting for the owner to call me back. If that owner does not call me back, I will put him on blast and let you guys know what this camp is and what they're about. This was not a very good run camp. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life, and I have a video of this. He is a horrible, horrible coach. That man should not be coaching our youth. Ever, ever in his life. He is not a leader. This guy's just a bully who never made it. Remember, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do in yours. Thank you.